So is money trauma or money blocks preventing you from owning a home? Do you feel like it's safer to rent than actually own a home? We don't realize sometimes how much our money blocks and our money trauma and what our parents did or our grandparents did with their money and with home ownership, and how much that actually affects us in our decision to decide if it's a investment or is it a liability? Is it safer to rent or is it safer to buy? Now, I personally have been taught to believe, and of course, I've been a mortgage lender for 20 something years, and I'm also a mortgage lending coach. I have learned that it is way safer to own real estate than rent, right? Landlord can't raise rent on you, can't kick you out. You can paint the walls, whatever colors you want, you can remodel, and you're growing that appreciation. You have a tax write off, and every single month you're paying down your mortgage, not your landlord's. However, some people feel like it's a liability and they're carrying around this money trauma. And I'm going to give you an example of why you might be carrying something around with you from your parents or your grandparents unknowingly, and how to change your belief system, wash that away, right? That's the bad wolf that talks to us sometimes, and reframe what home ownership can look like for you, and that it's safer to own a house, and that there's so many different ways, which is for another video. But misconceptions, having 20% down, perfect credit, that's all misconceptions, right? But that's for a different video. So let's talk about the money trauma and money blocks that you might be carrying around. So I'm going to tell you a story about my family. So my mother-in-law is one of the most kindest, positive, hardworking women, great mother, awesome grandmother. And she is 78 years old now. She's been paralyzed since my husband, Bobby, was 2 years old. So let me tell you how this relates to homeownership. I'm going to tell you this story first. She actually has been paralyzed since Bobby was 2, and here's how it happened. They were driving to Tahoe, her and her husband and one of her girlfriends driving to Tahoe, and they pulled over on the side of the road to get some rest at night. This was in the 70s. And I don't know why, but there wasn't a lot of talk about not pulling over on the side of the road to take a nap if you're tired. That's what they were taught to do, right? We've been taught there's big billboards now and signs that say certain things. They didn't have that back then in the 70s. And maybe it was just a bad judgment call overall, but they were trying to do the right thing. So they pulled over on the side of the freeway and were taking a nap so they can continue their drive to or from Tahoe. Now, husband got out of the car. He was checking the tires. And as that moment was happening, the two ladies were in the car and they were resting. Car didn't see them. I don't know if they had their hazards on or not. Car didn't see them, came barreling into them at full force. And instantly, my mother-in-law was paralyzed, and husband was outside of the car at the time. And the other person passed away right on the spot. So this woman, my mother-in-law, had 2 little kids. Husband ended up leaving. He didn't want to deal with a woman that was paralyzed. So she raised 2 kids in a wheelchair in the 70s and 80s on her own. She managed to save up enough money to buy real estate. And this is back then when there wasn't all these disabilities acts and protection and wheelchair accessible. She took the bus, worked, saved money, and bought a house. Now, here's what happened. One of the uncles of my husband said, "Hey, guess what, Ellen, I want you to sell your house. I'm going to triple your money. We're going to make it this awesome investment. You can get out of Hayward. You can move to Pittsburgh, move by me. My family's going to take great care of you." Now, one of her neighbor friends said, "Don't do it, Ellen. I don't have a good feeling about it. You have this beautiful house you've managed to buy on your own. Your kids are happy. It's in a safe neighborhood. Don't do it." That conversation has been burned in her brain forever, because here's what happened. Uncle took her money, ran away with it, ran to the Philippines. By the way, he got murdered. So bad karma for him. So anytime you do something for money, the money or the gifts that you've been given in life will turn to dust in your hands faster than you can blink. So she was stuck with no money, no house. She had to go rent in a different part of Hayward, California, where Bobby, my husband, said the gangsters' families had more money than him. She then built up the belief in her brain that and in her soul, really, in her spirit, that owning a house was not safe. Having money is not safe. It's scary to own. People will take money from you. Money is evil. It's safer to just go rent and be content with what you have or what you don't have. And that's all there is to it. So she actually put that belief on her children that don't buy a house, don't, just rent. You never know what's going to happen. Then the crash of the market happened in 2008. People were short selling. That furthered her belief that owning a home is not safe. The loan could go wacky. All these limiting beliefs that she's had from her terrible experience, right? So that affected her children in the way they feel about money. They had a money block. They had a money trauma about home ownership. I luckily did not experience that. My parents owned a home. They kept the loan forever. They paid it off. They went and bought more real estate, bought a bigger house, invested. Now my mom was able to sell her house for $700,000. We built her an in-law unit on my property. That's at this house right now in good old Danville, California. She has a paid off house. It helped my equity because now my house went way up in value because I have a whole nother in-law unit that's a 2-bedroom, bathrooms, laundry room, beautiful kitchen, brand new. It's a win-win. She got her money from investing in real estate, from paying off a house loan, from leveraging the equity she had to build an in-law unit where she has no bills right now. It helped my equity. She was able to sell her house and bank that money. And she got that all from homeownership. She would not be able to do that if she was renting, right? I'm going to say that again. She would not be able to build generational wealth that she can pass down to her kids if she didn't own real estate. She certainly didn't get it from working at the print shop that she's worked at since I was in high school. So only a few years ago. No, I'm just kidding. No, gosh, I think my 20-year reunion's coming up. I graduated in 1996. So there's no way that her working at the print shop, hour by hour, dollar for dollar, working 8 hours a day and getting a paycheck, she would not have been able to build up 700,000, over $1 million in real estate in equity, right? And have no bills. There's no way she'd be able to do that since working at a print shop since high school for 20 something years, right? So my point is, and why I share this with you is pay attention to, take a moment after you watch this video to wash away those limiting beliefs. Talk about, how did my parents feel about credit scores? Did they have good credit growing up? Did they own a home? Were they refinance crazy and they used their house like an ATM card? Did they pay off a house? Were they super conservative? Did they buy more real estate? Did they take that earned equity and buy more real estate? Is it a vacation home? Did they do Airbnbs? Are they sitting on a whole bunch of equity because they are afraid to use that and pull out that money because they don't want to use their 2 something, 3 something percent? Where are you at with the home ownership and what you feel like? Do you feel like it's an investment or a liability? So one of my clients said one time, but what if I lose my job and I buy this house? And I said, what if you lose your job and you're renting? If you own this 3-bedroom, 2-bath, you can go rent it out to somebody else that will continue paying down your debt. You'll continue getting future appreciation. You can have that tax write-off from that property. You still own that home. You go rent somewhere else, a little 1-bedroom, and maybe you sleep on the couch and give the master bedroom to your kids if you have children. Weather the storm, okay? So people take uncomfortable action are the ones that succeed, if I can find this fast enough. So basically, people don't like to take action because it's uncomfortable. So instead, they take comfortable inaction. There's a huge cost of inaction to that, right? They feel like it's safer to not have a bigger responsibility. So I told my client, you get uncomfortable, you go rent a 1-bedroom somewhere, rent out your home that you own, lease it for a year or something, and you go back to that once you get your feet wet in a new job and you start getting stabilized income. Then you move out the renters and you still own that home, right? If you rent and you lose your job, where do you go? Couch surfing with a friend. You move in your kids with your parents and you go back to living with your parents. If you feel like it is too much of a liability to own a home, you got to reframe your brain. You've got to blow through those money blocks and that money trauma. So I'm here to help you do that. We do free 30-minute discovery sessions so I can blow through those blocks and that trauma and find out how you can make a house in this market right now affordable, no matter where you are, no matter what credit score you have, no matter if you don't have any money in the bank. I had one of my clients that had $1,000 in the bank, and she was able to build up $350,000 in just a few years in Brentwood, California. She's my client for life because I took her to earn $349,000, right? With house equity with $1,000 down on a down payment assistance program. So say yes to yourself, say no to that bad wolf, and bad wolf will always be talking to you. You just have to find ways to say, shut up, get in the back seat. I'm the one driving, and you feed the good wolf, right? So more on that on my From Doubt to Homeowner seminar, but book a free 30-minute consultation with me. I don't cost anything. It's just say yes to yourself and ask the questions, and I will see you on the call. And I hope this video helped you today and impacted you in a positive way. Thank you.